What's up, everyone? Now it's time to go back to the Tony Hawk's franchise, and we're going back to Project 8. While I just reviewed Project 8 this past year, I only reviewed the current generation console version for the Xbox 360. A lot of people tend to forget that Project 8 did release for the 6th generation game consoles, in this case the PS2 and the Xbox. I was unable to obtain the PS2 version, but I was able to get my hands on the Xbox version. The Xbox version released very late in the Xbox's lifespan and is one of many forgotten titles that came out for that console at that time. Due to Neversoft being very busy with the PS3 and the 360 versions of the game, they gave the PS2 and the Xbox version to their longtime partner Shaba Games. Shaba Games is very well known for taking older hardware and pushing it to its absolute limits to achieve the best results, and Project 8 for the Xbox is no exception. In fact, I would put the Xbox version up against the PS3 and the 360 versions for a lot of reasons, and I'll explain why. Now, there are some noticeable differences with the Xbox version, the biggest difference being that the PS3 and the 360 versions take place in one big open-world environment, with various parts of the environment becoming unlocked as you progress through the game. The Xbox version is set up like the previous games from the franchise before American Wasteland, where it is split up into levels that you unlock as you progress, and you have to go to the menu to decide what level you want to go to. This leads to the only major negative about this port of the game, and that's the size of the levels. Because the environments are split into levels for this version, some of the levels are unbelievably small. The first level alone is easily the smallest level that I've ever seen from this franchise. I've always questioned why the decision was made to split the levels, especially since both the Xbox and PS2 have proven very capable of holding big environments, especially with the GTA franchise being on those consoles. But there might have been some more technical reasons behind that decision, so I won't harp on that. Control-wise, this port of the game is almost identical to the 360 version, and it's the same as the previous games that have come out for the Xbox, so they're quite easy to get used to. The graphical presentation is where the Xbox version truly excels. While it's not quite up there with the 360 and PS3, the Xbox version stands very well on its own and is probably the closest that the Xbox ever got to looking like a 360 game. The character models are sharp and the environments are very crisp looking. Even some of the smaller effects make it into the game, such as the water effects. While not quite as impressive as the next-gen consoles, the Xbox is very good with the smaller effects. Granted, there are a couple faults with the animations, particularly with the game cutscenes. They do lose a lot of their quality, especially since they're meant for HD resolution. However, they are still really impressive considering the fact that it's on the original Xbox, so it's really cool to see these cutscenes still present in this port of the game. From an audio standpoint, this game is great. Granted, some of the audio can sound a bit off, particularly when talking to characters that aren't featured in graphical cutscenes, but the rest is fine. The biggest advantage that this game has over its next-generation counterparts is its frame rate. One of the biggest issues that plagued the PS3 and 360 versions were their horrible frame rate issues. The Xbox version moves surprisingly well, and while there are a lot of loading times between levels and videos when compared to the PS3 and 360, the game's smooth appearance and playability makes up for it. Another surprise is how great the Nail the Trick mode looks. This was actually a feature that I was really concerned about because it looks phenomenal on the 360 and PS3, but the Xbox version, while not quite as glitzy, still looks great. So overall, it might be missing some of the graphical features from its next-gen counterparts, but the Xbox version of Tony Hawk's Project 8 stands just as tall and deserves to be noticed as well. Well, everyone, that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.